so happy you guys are listening in. Today I have a returning guest, Miss Amy Sanders. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's an honor. And I'm so excited to be here because I always felt like when we first met, which was over 3 years ago, I
Which
can't
is,
believe it.
we literally just, okay, we were just talking before we hit record. And so I was on it was number 44 on your Thrive Her podcast. So episode 44, and it was how to train your brain through proper downloading. And how many episodes do you have now on your podcast?
120.
Okay, crazy. And then this was 2021, you guys. And then you were on the Happy Whole You podcast, podcast number 68. Are You a People Pleaser was the name of that podcast episode I did with you. Again, 2021. And I think we're almost at 200 episodes. So what's funny is we were both looking up because we're like, oh wait, what was the numbers? Just so we could give all of you listening if you want to go back and listen to those episodes because they were great. We were a lot younger then,
We
okay?
were we were a little younger, only 3 years younger.
Only
Let's
2
count
years
that.
ago. But the truth is when you're working on personal growth and personal development,
True.
3 years is literally like I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was 3 years ago, yet still the same, but
Totally.
so much growth that you have had since 2021. And we're going to talk about some really cool things today. But yeah, but it was like you and I both were like, oh my gosh, it's been 2021. Like that just seems so long ago, but yeah, it feels like yesterday. So that's how life
Crazy.
goes as we get older. Time just keeps speeding up and it is like so weird.
So weird. Aren't you glad though to look back and be like, I am so proud of myself 3 years ago and what I was doing?
Yes,
And also, like, I'm still in these trenches doing it and doing it even bigger. Like, it's actually amazing. It's like, whoa, okay. Pat
yes,
ourselves on the back. I
yes,
I love I love looking back and being like, okay, yeah, I
yes,
made those choices that took me to where I am today, and now where I am today is such a more potent version of myself than I was then. So anyway, so great.
yes. Yes, it is. And, you know, we did an Instagram live on the Dr. Anna Marie Instagram, and you talked about the 5 C's
Yeah.
and 5 C's to building confidence and just like being your best self. And consistency
Mm,
is one of them. And I think you and I both can be patting each other on the backs and ourselves because if anything, we have been consistent putting out the podcast, working with clients, coaching them, doing the things because I don't know about you, but I look back that long ago and when I was on episode 68, it was like I was just trying to get to episode 100 and it
right.
felt like so like okay, I'll get there. I'll get there. And now I'm like, oh yeah, almost 200 episodes and it just like the more we do the things and we stay consistent, the easier they become. They don't feel as hard as they did at first.
Oh, totally. Totally. And it used to be really scary to do a podcast. Now I'm like, let's bring it on. It's so fun. It's like one of the funnest things that I get to do now because I'm talking to people who are just my people, the people who are in the trenches doing all the things, totally motivated and wanting to serve the world and make an impact. And so it's like this is where I love to live now, whereas it used to be so
Yeah,
scary.
it's so true. Oh my gosh. I know. I know. And back when I first started the podcast, I don't even think I did video. It was just the audio. And now we're on YouTube and we have the videos. So it's just that evolution that we all get to go through, which is
Yeah.
really cool. So those of you listening, there is episode number 68 on the Happy Ho You podcast. I encourage you to go and listen to that because Amy gives a lot of information, details about her personal life and her personal journey about being a people pleaser. And I
Mm.
think that story is really great. We're going to dive into some newer things today. But I want you to go back and listen to episode number 68 so you can get Amy's backstory. Because we all have a backstory, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
The good, the bad, and the ugly, but it is all on purpose to help us get to where we're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
All right. So today you were talking about the 8 things that we can do every day to tap in to our feminine energy and just into our energy ultimately. And I wanted to have you go through with us those 8 things that we could be doing on a day-to-day basis so we can all walk away with like these tangibles to do and to try, which
Yeah.
will help us all feel a lot more centered and better.
Yeah, perfect. Well, before we dive right into the eight, and I'm sure your listeners are very well aware, but let's just like take it back a little bit to energy 101, right? Everything's energy. Everything is energy. And it doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. It's science based. It just is. And what's amazing though is you can look at energy and have it work for you,
Mm-hmm.
or you can do the opposite and it can totally work against you. So it can totally self-sabotage through your actions and what you're doing and what you're not doing. But it can also, when you align it, totally create the most amazing life in all of the ways. Like you can have all of the money. You can have all of like the most amazing relationships. You can have it all. And I'm sure you guys are listening being like, "Oh my gosh, whatever." But I promise you it can be. But what we like to do is, you know, I want to say behave or show up in a way where we're not really using those energies for our benefit. And so if you think about energy, I like to look at the vibration scale. If you guys have not seen the vibration scale, just look it up, like energy vibration scale, and you'll see. But the very middle line is boring, like boredom. You're
Mhm,
bored. But the more you rise up, the higher the energy gets. And as you rise up, your energy increases, you're able to attract more. And the same goes if if you're bored and then you get frustrated. And then I actually have like a list over here that I'll name some so that I don't like mess it up. But so boredom, and then it's like frustration and pessimism, irritation. It keeps going down all the way till like jealousy is one of the lowest vibrations.
it is.
Guilt, yeah,
Oh, that's so it. I'm gonna look right now. Keep talking. I'm going to
okay,
look up right now so people on YouTube you can see. I actually made a vibrational chart that I use with my clients just to give them
yeah,
that visual.
yeah.
Because what you're talking about is like literally every day I talk to my clients about this stuff, but
I
it's
love it.
something that is like regularly talked about as like a real thing. Uh,
Mhm.
Okay, so keep going. I'm gonna share my screen so people can see.
Oh, perfect. I love that you're just going to share your screen. So, yeah, as you keep going down, it's like hatred is down there, but jealous is even lower. And guilt, powerlessness, all of these vibrations truly affect our well being.
Hmm.
But the same goes true for the positive. So when you are in the positive vibration, you're going to be feeling, as you move up, starts with like optimism, but as you move up, contentment, enthusiasm, happiness, passion, empowered, love, freedom, joy, like all of these are amazing emotions. And as you use them for the good, for the better, you
Hmm.
feel amazing, but you also attract that into your life. And I've become obsessed with this because it is a real thing. We can decide to use it or not. It's up to us. But when we use it, we attract everything so much faster. It's like a lot of people are talking about quantum leap, but it actually is.
Yes.
And it's like you can take quantum leaps by vibrating at a higher level. Now, with that said, I'm not perfect at this. I don't think anyone is, but it used to be that I loved to hang out in my masculine energy
Hmm.
because I was taught to do, go, go, go. And that's part of my story is like I was taught to just really push, 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 push. But that ultimately is not who I am. I'm a female and I love to dance and I love to dress up and I love to look pretty and I love a lot of feminine type things, but my behavior as a child, like how I was taught was very different. And so I was out of alignment with my energy, which if you guys go back and listen to the other episode, like I was a mess. I ended up completely broke, single mom, devastation and thinking this is not me. But it's like I look back, I'm like, well, I was literally attracting negative into my life. And I was also vibrating in that level. So then I was attracting more of it. And so what gets exciting is like when we start to use the energies and the vibrations for us, we attract so much more and it's so exciting. So, little feminine versus masculine. Feminine is all about being. It's like being uh caring, receptive, generous, nurturing. It's a lot of these feminine qualities, including sensuality. Like it's okay to feel sexy. It's okay to step into that power and just be okay with it. Being vulnerable, playful, like a lot of that is feminine energy. Now, masculine energy is going to be a lot of that doing energy, like the going, doing, logic, structure, efficient, being self-reliant, providing, all those. And you can look those up too, and you'll see like the lists. But when you look at them side by side, you can actually use both of them for your benefit. Like they're both good and we both possess both of them. However, we are going to have more of one than the other. And for females, most of the time, we do have more feminine than masculine, but we're especially as Americans, we are
We're
taught
programmed.
we are programmed and taught to live more in the masculine. But
Yeah.
what happens when we check our vibrations and we're like, hey, where are we at? Where am I at today? It's like this check, like, okay. Also, like when you're struggling and you like have negative feelings towards someone, that is lowering your vibration. Like, what if you sent them love? The
Hmm.
person that's really just driving you nuts or you're really struggling with, what if you stopped for just a second and said, Kate, my vibration is lower now because I'm having these feelings. How can I increase those? Like, what if I just sent them some love, which might help me? Because that's what it does, is it ultimately helps you. So those types of things. So let's move into the eight now that we energy 101. Even though your people probably already pros,
Love it.
I think it's good
Yeah.
to know, like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a thing.
Yeah. And for those like new listeners too, the thing about when we talk about energy, it's I always compare it back to the radio because I feel like, if you're over 40, then you're going to know more what I'm talking about. But like you tune in your car, we used to tune in a radio station. It would send out a vibrational frequency into thin air, and that vibration would try to find its match. When it found its match, you had music in the car. And
Mm,
so that's the kind of thing that I think we need to really take into play is that whatever energy that we are at, that Amy is talking about, whether it's shame, whether it's guilt, whether it's love, whether it's enlightenment, we vibrate at that energy, and that is going to attract the same type of energy. That's why
mm,
people always say, oh, when it rains, it pours. Oh, things come in threes. It's because
mm.
when something goes wrong, you're staying in that energy and you're attracting more of that energy and more of that energy and more of that energy. And it's no wonder why some people continuously struggle in their entire, like for their entire lives
Yeah.
because they're staying in that energy, and that's a very simplified thing, but it's a very real thing. And yeah, we don't talk about it here in America that much, but I'm always like, yeah, it's science, it's called physics. you know
It's called
So-
mimics.
but
And outside of, oh, sorry, I just interrupted you.
oh
Or
no,
you're
you're
good.
good,
Okay.
go.
I was like, outside of America, it's like pretty normal. Like all these other
Right.
places are practicing it and have been forever and ever and ever. And us Americans just decided one day, like, I don't know what we decided. Let's not do
Well,
that. Let's do modern medicine.
and I think that, and I also think because when we look at the energies, because I've studied energy medicine. And so part of energy medicine is looking at the chakra systems and
Hmm.
the meridians and the auric field and the biofield. And
Hmm.
so we all have this. And these are just names of energies that flow in and through us and around us. And so some of these energy systems, like the chakras, have been traced back 2,500 years. And so what I find is that sometimes people be like, well, I'm a Christian, so I can't talk about energy or I can't talk about chakras. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, this isn't a religious thing at all. It's just how is energy flowing in and out of the body and what organ systems are they impacting? And these chakras, if they're blocked, then there are organ systems that are impacting, causing a physical ailment over time. And so take out the religion thing. And I always say, I compare it to our cell phones. You go into an old building and you're not getting the Wi-Fi signal and your phone's kind of working, but it's not working that great and you're not able to use your apps how you want to and it's being slow, you're frustrated, but again, you're getting through. That's exactly what happens to our body when we don't have the right energy and the right frequencies going through the body. Our body will work, but it's not working at the ultimate highest level for our organ systems to function well. And that's one aspect of energy. And then there's the other aspect of energy of abundance and enlightenment and things coming to us. So that's kind of in my wheelhouse. That's what I
I
work with
love it.
clients.
Yeah, I love it. And it just is, right? I want to give an example with one of my clients this last week. So I usually work with women, but every now and then I have like a male client. And anyway, he was like, Amy, okay, I'm done. And over time we've been like, I've been working with him for a while and he's come really far, but there were some things that had happened to him in this last week. And he realized it's because he won't stop procrastinating, which is actually a lower level of vibration, right? So he's procrastinating. And in a week's time, he had lost $5,000.
Mm,
$5,000 because he made it late to an air, like two different flights. He got there late. He had to rebook the flights. He didn't fill out this form on time. He didn't like there was like a myriad of things that equaled $5,000 in loss that he had to pay. And he's like, what is going on with me? Like, why is this happening to me? I'm like, because you are literally you were attracting it, but you've labeled it that you keep procrastinating, but this is what this does. Like you are vibrating at that level. And he was just like blown away because he's one that's like kind of, tiptoed in the energy and then tiptoed back out.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, okay, like this is kind of weird. But then he's like, holy cow, I'm attracting all of this staying in the same. I was like, yeah, you are in the same energy. It's happening.
And the coolest thing about that is if you're the very one that is attracting it and creating it, that means you get to change it and you get to shift
Mhm.
it, which is about pretty much you're going to tell us how to do that in these
Yeah.
8 steps. So yay for us. We get a
Yeah.
choice.
The thing is, these eight things, you guys have heard them all. I'm going to go through them. They're not hard. Like they're not hard to do, and we all know what they are. Number one is meditate. And meditate can be anything. Like it can be when meditating on your own. It could be meditating through a guided meditation. It can be just listening to music and letting your mind just be. It's like meditation is medicine for the brain. It helps the brain slow down. And in today's world, we absolutely need that. And it doesn't have to be long. I think some people think of meditation like, oh gosh, I just don't have time for that. I'm like, you literally don't have time not to meditate. It
Yeah.
can be 5 minutes, but 10 to 20 is even better. But giving your mind a break and time to just rest and be, that is being in your feminine energy, is being, allowing yourself to be, which sometimes is difficult to do, but then when you do it, you feel so much better. And again, you're able to attract more into your life.
Mhm.
So easy. That's number one. It's
Yeah.
not crazy. It's not rocket science.
Yeah. But we all need to make sure we do it.
Yeah, you just need to do it. Add it into your day. For me, I do it first thing in the morning. I do my gratitude journal, I do my 10 dreams journal, and then I meditate. And it really does not take that long, but it sets me up for like a success in my day.
Yeah.
Number two is dance. And dance can be anything, like any form of dance. Move your body. We are meant to move. And when we dance, we are playing into our like creative part of our body, of our soul. And that again is tapping into our feminine energy. And as women, the more we tap into our feminine energy and allow ourselves to be and attract, we will attract more. It's science, it works. So when
Mhm.
it comes to dance, pick one. There's so many different forms, there's so many different things we can do. And with that said, I just started something new and it's been so fun. So I do have a dance background. Uh, I've done a lot of hip hop in my day. I've done a lot of ballet in my day. I just picked up pole dancing, not to be confused with strip pole. It's not stripper
Yeah,
pole.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's like a new thing. There's a lot of women doing that for like workout and just like expressing their feminine energy. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen that. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
It's been so fun and it's been fun because it's totally different and I get to be so creative on this pole that looks different than anything I've ever done on the floor. And so
Yeah.
it's like and it is hard, right? So it's a workout, but I'm like, who knew that in my 40s I would decide to pick up pole? But but it's been really fun. So I'm just saying, whatever it is, just pick something. If you
Yeah.
feel dumb, let go of it, like dance by yourself, whatever you got to do, but just let your body move and let it express itself. See what happens as you do that.
Oh my gosh, my kids die laughing at me because all of a sudden I'll just break out and start dancing like they're 40 something year old mom. And I just shake my booty and like move my hips and like get my arms all flailing. And they are just like, they just die. They are just like, oh my gosh, mom, like you are just so crazy. And it's like the most fun thing that I just do. Like, I'll just do it out of nowhere. Like, if you had
Right. Yeah.
cameras in my home, you would be like, wow, Anna Marie, okay, girl.
I'd actually love it. I'm sure I'd be like, yeah, can I join? Let's dance. Let's have a dance party. Yeah. I've always been one for a dance party, but as I've realized as I got older, I would do less of that. That was something I loved to do as like a child, teenager, even like early adulthood. But then, as you get older, you stop doing that as much. But I've learned, I'm like, no, 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 I can't not do it because it does help me vibe higher. And as you see, it also like your kids are probably like, man, our mom's awesome. Like, look at her, like it's also just fun. It keeps things light
Yeah,
and entertaining.
yeah, totally. I love that.
The third one's chill out.
Mm,
Literally chill out, which means allow yourself to treat yourself to whatever that looks like. It could be a bubble bath, it could be a face mask. A lot of people call it self-care. It's just allowing yourself again to take care of you while being, to not feel rushed and don't have a time on it, whatever it is, just I'm doing this for me today and be
yeah.
okay with it. Again, not hard things. We just need to actually implement them.
Oh my gosh. When I left my corporate job at 40, the one thing that I am like loving is I am not rushing in the morning.
Hmm.
I'm still getting my kids to school. I'm still doing the drop off, doing all of that stuff, still waking up, moving my body. But it's like I literally cut out 20 minutes of driving every day. And I like feel like that is like such a great time now that I get with my kids.
Hmm.
And I look back at how I used to be when I was like rushing to get to work and punching a clock and all of that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like how much stress did I put on not only myself, but my small children? And
Yeah.
so that just like being in the morning, like this morning, I have a biocharger at my house. And so, if those of you that don't know what that is, it's pretty awesome. You can check out the Happy Whole You website. It's one of the piece of equipment that we use here for therapies for clients. But yeah, like I just like woke up, I went for a little jog, made my mushroom coffee, put my feet in the grass outside, came back in, sat in front of my biocharger, and then, wake up the kids and like, let's go, get ready. But it's a very different energy when you just allow yourself to be and not rush and it spills
Hmm.
over and um yeah, I don't know. I appreciate that because we're gonna get there anyways. So you can choose to make it all rushing and crazy, but like the thing is it took literally a difference of 20 minutes in my morning to go from rushing and stress to just being. And I probably
Yeah.
could have not been stressed and rushed, and you could probably take away 20 minutes of my morning right now, and I would just be. But I thought, you know what I mean? It's like a mindset
Yeah.
thing. Like I was like, because I was going to a job I didn't love anymore, honestly. That's what it came down to. And when you're doing things you don't love, it's hard to just be because you don't trust in the process of life because you're not trusting yourself because you're not doing the things that you tell yourself you know you need to do.
Yeah. So
Okay, I went on to
energetically, no, I love it. I love it. So energetically, you weren't there, right? And it showed up.
totally.
And that's the other thing I think about being feminine energy. You know, hundreds of years ago, I think it was easier to be in this feminine energy than it is now with how many different pressures we have. But again, they're all pressures that we put upon ourselves.
Mhm.
And when we allow ourselves to step into that energy of being, like you were saying, how much better is your relationship going to be with your kids? How much better is your relationship going to be with your husband, with yourself, with your neighbors, like even with your dog, you know?
100%. Yes,
It's
yes.
all of these things that just like, okay, we can't afford not to do this. We
Mhm,
really can't. And if you
mhm.
look at it like you can, I like to look at it as a game. Like, okay, as I'm doing these things, first of all, it was super fun. This morning I got on the pole before, that sounds so funny, but so then I installed a pole in my house. I'm like, I want to practice. And I came down to get my workout in. And I'm like, actually, my workout's going to be partly on the pole today. I just decided. I was like, that's what we're going to do. And so I did it. And then I sometimes film myself to see like how I'm looking on it because it's, you can't really tell when you're on it. And then after I was just like proud, I was like, "Oh, look at this. This is it just like put me in a different vibration. I was like, this is awesome. But
That's
anyway, but
cool.
yeah, so just being able to chill out and be whatever that looks like, again, it will be different for every single person.
Mhm.
But for you, it's like changing your morning. For me, it was adding something new and then also again not rushing my mornings. I'm never rushed in the morning. I used to be, but
Yeah.
now it's like I don't really like to totally dig into work until 10:30, 11.
Mm,
That whole morning is all about me and my family. That's it. Like nothing, the workout, meditation, reading, but it just sets you up for a better day. So anyway, so with that, number 4 is create. Create something. Now, this again can be anything. If you are into gardening, maybe you're creating a beautiful garden. Maybe you're coloring. If you like scrapbooking, I don't know if that's like totally outdated now. Maybe it could even be when it comes to people with business, it could even be your social media as long as it's not adding stress. It's like grab a pen. It could be poems. It could be what is it that gets your creative process going? Creativity is also part of your feminine energy. And so when you tap into that like inner creativity, you tap into a higher part of your feminine energy. And as you do that, it's beautiful what you can create. We are meant to create. And not
yeah.
only that, but like we really work on that like creative muscle which gets stronger and then in turn you can create more. And I don't know, Anne Marie, I'm assuming you're similar like me this way, but like when I'm creating a program or something, I feel like I'm on fire. Like I'm
Oh
just
my
like when
gosh.
I'm in
Yes.
it, like I'm just like, and I get so excited for who this is going to like help and
Mhm.
like this, I just visualize these clients and these clients like making leaps and bounds, it's like, but that's the creative energy, even though that's part of my work,
Yeah. Yes.
I'm in it. How is it for you?
Oh, same. And it's like you're so in flow, and then you're like, yeah. And I think it's because we're also not only are we in creation, but we're in creation for what's possible,
Yeah.
right? Like what the future has in store for not only ourselves, but the clients that we reach and that we help.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is like I know, and I'm definitely a creator. I mean, that vibration chart that I showed earlier, that's like just a drop in the bucket. I have all these other graphs and things that I've created that I don't even, some of them I don't even share with other people. They were literally just for me, for my own like learning. But yeah, like I'll draw things and create things, and it feels so good.
It does.
Mhm.
And we can do it with anything, right? It's like every
Anything.
person's going to be different. You and I
Mhm.
love to create, we love to serve others. That's like where we love to live. But again, just pick something. It might be painting, who knows, but just create whatever that looks like for you. Number 5 is take hike. Take a hike, aka go into nature, get grounded, which you even did this morning, right? You went
Oh
and
yeah,
walked into the grass. Like that is
yeah.
grounding. It's getting yourself in nature because nature is another way to increase your vibration, but
Mhm.
also to step into your feminine energy. And I'm like, it's Mother Earth. We look at like Earth as like a female energy. So when we're tapping into that again, it just helps us feel more connected to the world, which in turn taps us even stronger into our feminine energy.
Yes, I love that.
So yeah, go take a hike, a walk, bike ride, whatever it is. Get out in nature, enjoy it, enjoy the beauty, disconnect. When you're in nature, that's the other thing, disconnect. Have you
Oh
ever
yeah.
been on a hike and like You're totally just in the zone. You're loving nature. Everything is beautiful. And then someone comes walking past you, blaring their speaker.
Oh gosh, that's yeah. I don't even like it when I'm literally like this morning when I was running, I was like going for the run and there was a car parked and this is like literally like 5:45, 6 a.m. and they are blaring their music in their car. And it's like, I'm looking at the stars, I'm just taking in the morning and I'm just like, what is happening right now? But yes, that whole thing, it's like, oh my gosh, why?
Like, why? Just connect to nature. We can be
Yeah.
disconnected from any electronics for a little bit. But when you are, again, it opens up that channel in communication to be more connected. And ultimately, all of us like thrive when we're connected to humans, connected to nature, connected to our work. That's where we feel the most like alive while also feeling the most peaceful, not coming from a place of stress, but coming from a place of flow.
Yes.
Number six, a little bit different, but it's share. Be vulnerable. Now, I'm not saying like air all of your dirty laundry, but when we're able to be have someone that maybe you need to do that with, whatever. But a
Yeah.
lot of people like look at vulnerable like, oh, I'm sharing everything, like the worst parts of me. It's like it's not that. It's being open and allowing yourself to let down those barriers, those walls that you have open or walls that you have up, opening them up to where you can let people in. And when you're able to let people in and when you're able to actually be vulnerable with them and allow them to truly connect to you, you build a deeper connection with them, which is all about like that's what humanity needs. And
Yeah.
that's what we have come, I think, pretty far away from.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Another
Totally.
thing with that is don't don't hesitate to allow people to help you. Like ask for help. I know a lot of people feel vulnerable when they ask for help or they feel like oh they're putting somebody out, but when you ask for help, you actually are telling that person, "Hey, I trust you.
Mhm.
I trust you enough to help me with this thing." And then, it's up to them whether or not they say yes. But most of the time, they're going to say yes and they feel honored. They feel honored that you would ask them to help you. And that in turn builds a stronger connection. And that's ultimately what life is all about is having stronger connections with people and feeling that inner peace that comes with it.
Yeah. I love that for sure.
Thank you. Number seven is flow. Which this is probably my favorite one out of all of them, but it's also probably the hardest one to do. So flow is clear an entire day off your schedule, like have not one thing on it, completely clear, nothing on the schedule, and then move from flow.
Mm,
Meaning you're asking yourself the entire day, what what would I like to do next? What feels good? And
mm,
you're leaving enough open space like in your brain like you do your meditation whatever and just okay, what's next? What do I want to do next? What feels good to me? And you move from flow the entire day. The first time I did this, I literally had the best day I have ever had in my whole life. I was like, what just happened? And I didn't have dinner plans. I did like nothing was on the schedule. And it became the most beautiful day. And I felt so incredibly like connected and alive. And I was like, okay, that's why this is a thing. This is why people say to do this, which is, especially as a mom, it might be hard to do. It might be that this day is like when you're on vacation and you have nothing planned because you don't have kids with you, or I don't know. But wherever you can, schedule a day every now and then where there is zero things on the calendar.
mm.
Move from flow the entire day and then see how you feel by the end of the day. It is literally the most incredible day.
That's so cool. I don't think I've ever done like a full day, but I have more recently. Like I, I went and listened to a gal, her name's Barbara O'Neill. Love her. And I went 5 days to Northern California and her session was always in the evening. So it was like literally, I don't know, it was like 3 hours every evening. But I had like the whole day.
Mm,
No responsibilities. I thought, yeah, maybe I want to write in my book and, but I literally had 5 days of where I just did whatever the heck I wanted all day. And what I found was I went and I ate really good food. I
Yeah.
took some time to write. I walked outside. Like I just did like things with just like zero pressure, zero responsibilities. And yeah, I mean, I think back to like, I don't think I had days like that since I was single and no children.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love that. I love that. That's a great tip. Everyone try that. Report back.
Just
I
try
want to
it.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too. I want to know how it goes for you. Like the first time I did, like I said, it was like your energy is so high.
Uh-huh.
And you're just like, what's next? And it's like nothing matters. It's like you just get to be. I also did not touch my phone. I mean, I looked at it like a few hours, apart. Like if I needed, I was out of town the first time I did it because as moms, it's kind of the only
Yeah.
time you can, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, but I'm all, okay, I'll look at my phone. I like to, respond to my kids. But the other thing that happened that day was I felt so much love, like a deeper sense of love than I have felt for my family, for my children. I was like, I just need to tell her how much I appreciate her. And I'm like sending that out, and then I'm vibing even higher. And so then I'm doing it with my son. And the next thing I'm sending my stepdaughter, same thing. And it was just like, it was literally so incredible. So that was like my favorite thing of the eight is moving from flow. Just take a day and see what comes up from you. And then also see what you create.
Yeah.
Because even with you, you're like, oh, I wrote in my book a little bit. Like, I bet it was amazing what you wrote that day. Just
Mhm.
because you get to have like it's like a free day. Your brain's more open and
Yeah.
receptive to all of the different things. So, and the last one is just join a community. The last one is join people who are vibing the way you're vibing and who are wanting to become better people. Like, of course, we've heard it our whole lives, like birds of a feather flock together. Yep, they sure do. But
Yeah.
but there's reason for it, right? So like when you are with people who are motivating you, who are lighting you up, who totally have your back of whatever it is that you're wanting to create or do, it gives you that much more power to keep going.
Hmm.
And like when we met, we're like, oh my gosh, I like love you. This is so awesome. It's like the same. It's like, oh, there's my person. Those people are my people because they're doing the things, and that's who I'd love to vibrate with is people who are just all in on making their lives better and making the lives of other people better. And sometimes when you don't have a community, it can feel really alone. You can feel
Oh,
really alone. It can feel lonely. And so it's like just find it doesn't have to be a huge community, but find some people who truly help you stay in that higher vibing energy, especially your feminine energy, who applaud you or might dance with you when
yeah.
you're dancing in the kitchen, because when you do that, again, you're able to stay higher. And when it comes to energy, if we are staying in that higher vibration, we attract so much more into your lives. And
Mhm.
we get to decide, like, what is it that we want to create? We can do whatever our heart desires.
Mhm.
But in order to do that, we do need to stay in that higher energy vibration. So those are the eight.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, those are great. Those are really good. I agree with every single one of them. And I think that sometimes like when it's great that you broke that down because I don't think we kind of just go about our day to day. And for me and how my brain works, I do like to have that kind of like that structure, say, okay, this is what I'm shooting for, but that's my masculine energy. I know I
That's
have
your masculine. Yeah.
like I literally have so much masculine energy, which is why I know the right side of my body whenever I have an injury or something going on, it's right side of the body, which is
Mhm.
masculine side of the body.
Right.
Left side of the body is feminine. Um, and yeah, it's just like it's just crazy. But yeah. Or wait, did I say that right?
Yeah. Right side's masculine, left side's
Okay.
feminine.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm
You got
like
it.
doing this thing. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's energy is such a cool, it's just so cool. And it's a real thing. And I think if more people started to like pay attention to just the words they speak, the thoughts they have, and how they actually directly, which words and thoughts carry a vibrational frequency of energy, and they directly impact our biochemical makeup and our physical
Hmm.
body, which again is why I believe that healing, if you want to heal the physical body, it starts with a mental thing first. You don't heal the physical with a physical. You actually heal the physical with a mental, with a spiritual, with an energetic first. Because if we go inside every single cell till we can't go any further, the only thing that's left is energy. So to
Right.
not pay attention to the energetics of the human body, I believe we miss a whole aspect of healing. And I think a lot of people's energy is off, which is, problematic, and it goes to show, I mean, how many people feel out of alignment. Out of alignment is your energy isn't aligned. So try these
Hmm.
8 tips, you guys.
Yeah. It's incredible. And I would love to know how things as you guys come back into alignment and as you start to do these things, I'd love to know how it goes for you.
Yeah. Amy, let everyone know, how can they connect with you on social and your website and all the good stuff.
Yeah, so my social is just Coach Amy Sandler, or gosh, Coach Amy Sanders. Like not that hard to say, but somehow that just was. So Coach Amy Sanders on Instagram, and then my website is also just amysanders.co, and all spelled easy. It's like AMYSANDERS. The American the
Yeah.
American name, Amy Sanders. Yeah.
And we'll put it in the show notes, you guys, so you can connect with Amy. And then again, you can go check out the podcast episodes that we've recorded previously. And then you can shoot over to Instagram and you can see the live that we did where we talked about the 5 C's in terms of confidence. Those are really great tips as well. I think between the 5 C's and, these 8 tips, like everyone should be flying high. I mean,
Right. Yeah. That's what we want for everyone,
yeah.
right? Fly high. Life is like we can live as big as we want to live. So let's go for it. Let's live big.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Love it. Well, Amy, thank you so much for joining me today. And yeah, we'll have you back soon.
Thank you. Thanks again for the opportunity.